Welcome back to the Easy Button Real Estate Podcast. I have my man, Mr. Kevin Clark, down in the Portland area with us today. Today's going to be a great show for a multitude of reasons. I mean, he's another story of someone who's been transitioning from a W-2 into being in a real estate business full time and everything that comes with that. So one of the things I'm excited to go into, he has an awesome deal that he's doing, higher end deal. I think it's a good example of not leaving higher end deals out of your buy box. So if you're doing active deals, because there's ways to monetize them. So we will get into all of that and more on today's show. But without further ado, Kevin, welcome. We are grateful to have you on with us today. Why don't you just give the audience who's listening out there like a quick high level elevator overview of who you are, what you're doing, what got you into real estate, and why you are another crazy self-employed person talking about real estate on a podcast.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Cole. Again, my name is Kevin Clark. I am up in the Northwest, so Portland, Oregon area, and the surrounding community. Grew up here most of my life, and out of college, ended up going into sales. Didn't really know too much about it, but with sports background, being competitive, I wanted to make money, and I saw sales as the easiest opportunity to do that. And my background's primarily in, business to business sales, capital equipment. Started with a big IT copier company up here, door-to-door sales. It was not glamorous. It was hard. It was cold calling, prospecting every day. And I had some success there, worked my way up into management. That was all good, but I realized over some time that I didn't want to look back 20 years from now and say, hey, I was the best copier salesman in the Northwest. That just wasn't
like
what...
Dunder Mifflin, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of was thinking about my why, and I just realized that's not what I wanted for myself. And I knew I still wanted to be in sales, and with some of the success, I ended up going into capital equipment, medical device sales. And again, it was good, but was traveling a lot, wasn't really making my own schedule. And I just wanted the freedom and to follow a passion. And with some of the success I had, real estate was something I was super interested in, had bought houses, done rental properties, and originally thought I was going to go monopoly route and follow the Burr method.
Rich dad, poor dad.
Exactly. Bigger pockets, all that stuff. And after having some tenants and all that, just realized that's not really what I wanted to do. I didn't want to manage properties, fix issues. And so I have a partner who's in real estate. He's an agent, and I didn't know anything about wholesaling. So he had seen some of your content. He had heard about Easy Button. He knew I was in a spot where I wanted to do something new, be my own boss, and that I was interested in real estate. So we hopped on a call with Nelson, took the leap and was like, let's go start a business and go into wholesaling. And that is what has gotten me here.
I love it, man. Yeah. Every single person I have on one of these client case study podcasts, they're all so different, but a lot of them start with the journey of like, hey, I was working a job, or I was in college, or whatever it may be, and I read this Rich Dad, Poor Dad book or something like it, and I thought I was going to buy one or two rentals and like sail off into the sunset and sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais and laugh at everyone working the job. And then you buy a rental or two, and I had the same experience when I was in my early 20s. You buy a rental or two, and you go, this kind of sucks, right? There's tenants. They're not that fun to deal with. There's always things breaking. I feel like I'm losing money, not making money from this thing. Yeah, you have the tax write-offs. Yeah, you have the depreciation. Yeah, you have the appreciation. But it's not the game that it's sold to be by fortune builders and by Renatus and all the early kind of stage, let me sell you a $40,000 course on passive income. And then you get into the space where like, well, I'm in real estate. I might as well make money now. And you kind of get into the active side, which I feel like is just as powerful as the passive side. And blending those two is the way to build wealth, right? You make the money, and then you preserve it with a portfolio. One of the first conversations we had, I don't know if you fully believed like this wholesaling and flipping thing was something real. I remember vividly, the conversation was kind of like I know we signed up to work with you guys. I know we're getting leads, but like, this is actually a real thing. Walk me through now where your headspace is now around the business and the active income side with flipping and wholesaling, and what you guys have been able to do there, and kind of expand your horizons and understanding of what can be done on the off-market real estate side.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on. I think at the beginning, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I think there's some of that shiny object, business owner, entrepreneurial, like, hey, I'm starting a business. I can go brag to people
Yeah,
about
yeah.
how cool this
Yeah.
is and, throw real estate investing in front of it and you look really cool. So, I fell into some of that at the beginning, didn't have a clear idea of exactly what it was we were going to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. And with a sales background, it translates to this, and especially off market, you're not dealing with, you guys send us great leads, but I think when people hear lead, people can get with that construed as to like, oh, this person said yes, they're going to be ready to, sign the
Yeah.
deal in the next couple days or something, where there's a lot of nurturing, a lot of follow up. You really got to peel back the layers in these conversations to build trust, build rapport. There's got to be a commitment to it as well and consistency. And I think that's really what I lacked at the beginning. And a lot of that is probably just because I come from being in sales and knowing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And in this, I didn't know. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a business owner. I feel like I need to know everything when in reality, I just needed to pick up the phone, get the reps in and make dials. And now I think the off market real estate that we've done, even though it's not a ton of deals yet, you can just see the power that you have
Yeah.
when you're making the calls, being consistent, having a thorough sales process, and really having genuine curiosity and genuinely caring about the people you're talking to. And I
100%.
I think that comes through, and I think that's something that I've realized is when you're trying to find solutions for people and really helping them out and what their situation is, you can see the power of the off-market deal, and it's not just a transactional thing. You're building the relationships, and I think that's something that I knew beforehand, but I personally didn't know enough, so I was unsure of the value that I was bringing to people, but I think when you just genuinely care and genuinely, are curious as to what people are going through so you can find solutions, then you can really start to get traction. And that's kind of where we're at. And we're kind of at a turning point for Q4. So I'm really excited about it. And it's been a journey so far,
Yeah.
but it's been good.
Yeah, I think when everyone gets into real estate sales, and a lot of our clients, they start as they're successful flippers or developers, or they're working a W-2 or a sales job, and they think they understand sales. When it comes to real estate sales, like the role we play working with off-market sellers or sellers in general, if you're an agent or an investor, is you kind of play coach, therapist, liaison, friend, confidant, all in one. And the sales process is so different, right? It can be 6 months, it can be 18 months. And, our peak years at HelloPad, doing 15 deals a month, 20 deals in a month, a third of those would be from leads that came into our system a year or two ago. A third of those were from leads that came into our system somewhere between 6 and 12 months ago. And a third of those are leads that came in the last 1 to 3 months. And so many people, they only capture 1/3 of their pipeline. And those are the people that came in the last 1 to 3 months because they don't want to work the leads that long. But the question I always ask is, hey, if I guaranteed you a $50,000 check, if you called this person for 2 years once a week and built a relationship, everyone would say, hell yeah, because if you break that down into dollars per hour, you're making $2,000 an hour, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 an hour. And when you're sitting in the acquisition seat in the business and the real estate business, if you genuinely treat every single lead like your only lead, you make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per hour when you really do the math. It's absolutely insane. And I think one of the things you hit on there is you internalize with time, like, no, you are a real estate solutions company here to build a relationship, ask questions, build rapport, and then a deal comes of it when it's the right time, and not rushing that process. So, what was the big unlock for you before we hear about the? I know you got a big deal. You guys are working higher end. What was the biggest unlock for you on the sales side, working with us, working with Tyler on the deal engine? Obviously, the leads are coming in from us, but what was the biggest sales unlock for you? That's like, oh no, I think I can do this. I think I can close deals consistently.
Yeah, another great question. Tyler has been great. He's someone that I really connect with. He knows I have a sales background and he's helped me take some steps back and just keep it simple. He's given me examples of things he's done in his past business and shortcomings he's had because he was doing things like I was doing and overthinking, thinking you have to have everything figured out instead of just picking up the phone and making calls. So he's just helped me with a process of don't overthink things, don't overcomplicate things, and just focus on the dials, focus on the talk time. And I mean, we've had conversations. He's like, I can tell by talking from you that you know what you're doing, that you're good, that you can do the sales piece of it. So stop getting in your own way and don't overcomplicate it and get people on the phone. And when I looked at it like that and I stopped second guessing myself about, oh man, I'm new into this. I don't know what value I'm going to provide people. Like, why would they do business with me? And you've said it before. I mean, we know more than 90+% of the people we're talking to. So that was something. It was getting out of my own head and realizing that, especially when you're coming from a perspective and a point of, hey, I genuinely want to help you. Like, what's your situation that you're in? What is an ideal outcome? And how do we work together to get there? And that's how Tyler's really helped me, and Easy Button as a whole. So, and
Gotcha.
not prejudging your leads.
Yeah, yeah. You said something valuable earlier in the show, if you guys are listening. He said the word leads can trip people up because when a lot of people think about lead, I had the conversation yesterday with someone who's not a client. They booked a consulting call with me, and I had this option where people can pay hourly for that. And they paid a lot of money to meet with me for an hour. And they pull up on their screen and they're like, yeah, these are good leads and these are bad leads. And I'm like, well, how do you know what's a good lead and a bad lead? They're like, well, a good lead has a really strong motivation to sell to me as soon as they come in. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna miss out on 9 out of 10 deals thinking about it that way. Because a lead in real estate is really someone that has some kind of interest in selling really in the next 6 to 12 months. And if you can nurture that relationship, that's how you build a pipeline. So I think that was very valuable there, and how you're thinking about not prejudging leads, right? Building relationships, solving problems. The amount of deals that we've done when someone comes in asking for 50 grand above Zillow price, but we end up buying the house or wholesaling the house for 60% of Zillow price once we get to know them and solve their problems is insane. I couldn't even count. That's common. So not prejudging is a big thing. That's a very good call out. And I can tell that you've been working with Tyler and you've been trying to wrap your brain around all this because the way you're talking about it is like, that's how I talk about it, right? It's how real estate sales work. So why don't you talk about that recent big win you guys had, that big deal, how that came about, how the underwriting process happened, and what you're going to make on it. Walk me through the whole thing.
Yeah. So this deal probably came in middle of summer, beginning of summer. It's in a super nice area in Portland. So the West Hills, it's a place where people want to be, kind of old Portland, all different types of homes, overlooking downtown, the river, you can see for miles. So it's a beautiful spot. I ended up just calling the guy as the lead came in, older gentleman. He's a very well-known, endocrinologist in the Northwest. So he was honest with me. He had never even thought about a cash offer. He said, yes, I'm looking to sell this property. But he had never even sold a house before.
Yeah.
So a lot of the relationship building was centered around that. And it was moving at his timeline. He travels a lot. I went through our call. I got some information. And he was basically like, unfortunately, my ex-wife passed away. That was the house we grew up or raised our kids in. I haven't been there for 10 plus years. And he has this beautiful house and he didn't really know what to do with it. It was a little older, needed some work done, and he just had stuff there. But there's definitely some sentimental value in everything there, but he just didn't know what he should do. Does he want to go on market, off market? So we talked about the benefits of it. And with this schedule and how much he traveled, he's like, hey, and I think I learned this from you, but it's like you're trading equity for ease of close.
Transaction. Yep.
Yeah. So I brought that up to him and he's like, you guys will take it as is. Like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to deal with open houses and getting the house staged and all that sort of stuff. So he was really comfortable. We put an offer out there. I think we did a good job. But again, because this was his first house he's ever really sold, he wasn't sure. So he threw a little wrench in it, which is not a problem. He ended up hiring a neighbor who was a higher end real estate agent in the area. He actually sent me a text. He's like, hey, this is what I'm doing, but I'm excited to see where this goes. which was kind of misleading. I was like, oh man, what's that mean?
I'm
Like, are
about to
you
lose
just,
this deal.
yeah, about to lose
Yeah.
this deal? You're just excited that the house is going to sell, but you're not going with us. So stayed in touch with them, reached out to the realtor. They had some interest, but what really helped us is the fact that we had multiple touch points. We had built a relationship. He knew who we were and that we're local. So at the end of the day, they had some showings. We worked with the real estate agent and they accepted our offer. And we came in at $1,050,000. I think on Zillow, the house is right under 1.5.
Nice.
And ARV for this house is probably going to be 1.7 to 2 mil.
Jeez.
Depending, there's been some good comps that have come out lately. So it's exciting, but yeah, it was kind of crazy because it's like we talked about, don't prejudge leads and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Such a good example. And I'll give you the mic back in a second, but a lot of people go, "Oh, this guy's a doctor. He's not going to work with me." My one of my biggest assignment fees ever when I was 21, it blew my mind. This guy texted us in and said, "Hey, I want to sell. I want 400,000." And we looked at the property. It was like 800,000 as is on Zillow. And we went out in person. We took a buyer with us because we were like, we don't want to miss this opportunity. And we signed it for 425, assigned it for 600, closed 2 weeks later. And he was a very wealthy builder in Washington. He showed up wearing a $100,000 watch, like very wealthy guy. And he was just like, I love seeing young guys hustle and succeed. And so you cannot prejudge a seller based on them being a doctor or an attorney or even a real estate agent. We've bought in a lot of homes from real estate agents. So that's a great example and a great example of not prejudging. So you guys are flipping this deal, yeah?
Yeah. So originally we looked at it and we probably could have done a $50,000 assignment fee,
Yep.
which I think would have been great.
Probably more based on the numbers.
Yeah. Based on just some of the quick conversations we
Yeah.
had, I think 50 would have been a minimum.
Yeah.
But with the partnership I have with Jordan, he's worked on some flips and he has a good friend that we've partnered with on this as well. And looking at the numbers, looking at the timeline, and just looking at the possibility of what can be done with this house, it made sense to me and to all of us. Hey, it might be a little riskier. You're putting your payday out a little ways, but I just wanted to see this project through and
Yeah.
see what could become of it. Because again, I think the payday will be substantially bigger, but it's also building some relationships and learning, from start to finish. Like, hey, this was a lead that came in, got it under contract, figuring out the right way to disposition it, and what's the right solution that we want to go to, and kind of weighing the pros and cons of each. And after doing that, we decided to flip it. I think it'll turn out really well.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, 2 more questions for you as we head to the back half of the show. One, congratulations to you guys on that. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, thank you.
First is, when you look forward 6 months, 12 months to your real estate career, what does that look like for you? Like, what do you want a year from now to look like for you?
Yeah, you use the term return on brain damage
Yeah.
a lot. So I think about that. There's a few things that you've said as well, is people building themselves prisons. And I think I got caught up in some of the business stuff at the beginning and not just keeping things simple and worrying about the sales and marketing aspect of it. So for me, especially over the next 3 months, finishing out 2025, I'd like to get to 5 deals. So I think that's attainable. But over the next 6 months, I think it's really just building more consistency and a better process. I think the sales process is good, but you also taught me another thing about, I don't know if you use the term active procrastination.
Productive distraction. Yeah. Active procrastination. Yeah.
Which I don't mean to, but that happens often. And especially from the sales that I came in, it was always about, hey, getting appointments, getting in front of people. And I think I've learned that, you can get people on the phone and you can set an appointment, but is it really necessary? And being able to get a lot of that stuff done on a first or second call. So figuring out that process, so I'm just more effective with my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, 6 months to a year, it's doing a minimum of a deal a month. And then I'd like to work with you guys to help, scale and add a team member or two. Because as much as I love making phone calls and dealing with the leads as they come in, I think my passion and where I want to be is, once I don't want to say a deal's ready to go, because they take a lot of nurturing.
Yeah.
But when the deals that are hot, like working those deals from start to finish. So maybe having a lead manager that can work some of the leads as they come in, and some of the leads that are more ready to go, work those. But again, biggest thing for Jordan and I is, consistency, building the process, and having something that is repeatable to some extent. Because starting this with not much understanding of what was
Mhm.
going on, it was kind of flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
And that can work for a while and you can win some deals, but I think it's really figuring out and just being more consistent and having a roadmap that we can follow.
Love that. Last question. I ask it to every guest. I'm sure you've heard it is. Who is, and one, I'm excited to help you along that journey. I think that's going to be a fun push for you guys to kind of go from hustlers to real operators, build a team, build systems. But who is, if someone came up to you, who is the right fit for Easy Button?
I knew this question was coming. I've thought about it. And, we've talked about, and I've heard other people say it's coachable, driven, no ego, all those sort of things. And I think they do play a key role in success and being a good Easy Button client. But from my perspective, I think patience is a big thing. Because again, going back to leads and how those come in, the people that prejudge leads and the people that have the shiny object syndrome and the people that change marketing channels every 6 months, I don't think that they're going to be a good fit. Like, these deals can take 90 to 180 days, sometimes longer. So I think you have to have some patience and trust the process and trust the coaching that you're getting. Because if I didn't do that, I probably would have stopped this 6 months ago, because it
Yeah,
was just like, oh man, there's something else I could be doing.
of course.
So I think, patience is going to be a huge thing, especially you're making a lot of calls per day. You're going to get a lot of no's. There's highs and lows in this. So never get too high, never get too low. And there's such a good group and community that's available to you. And it's something I've really had to lean into, and I'm still working on it, but it's being accountable. And I know you started the accountability groups,
Yeah.
and that's something that I'm going to get signed up for and put into a group. So I think that's something that's super important. So be accountable to yourself, the people around you. And if you can't be, then you're probably not going to be the right fit.
Love that. Love that, man. Well, Kevin, thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a show. For you guys out there listening, as you know, we don't grow this show through anything but word of mouth. So keep spreading the word because it's working. Kevin's an incredible investor, up and coming investor in Portland. Got some awesome things going. A great flip and learning the game. And the next step's going to be growing a team and, going from hustler to operator and then, eventually architect. And I'm excited to watch their career flourish. As always, you guys, wherever you listen to the show, Spotify, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever it may be, leave us a review. Let us know what you want to see, how we can continue to perfect this show for you. And until next time, you're only one deal away.